Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Call Sheet Podcast. I'm Gabrielle Simone, and today on the call sheet I have Tay Smith.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So, Tay, you are an agent, one of
Yes.
the top agents in Atlanta.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes. Yes.
you are one part of the
Yeah.
partnership.
Correct.
Your other partner is Chris.
Correct.
Great.
Correct.
So, when did you start the, is it Young Smith Talent Agency?
Smith Young.
Sorry.
Yep. Yep.
Smith Young Talent
Yeah.
Agency.
So that was 2017.
Okay.
2017. And actually, we had another name before that.
Okay.
So before that, it was BYSB because we had other partners
Okay.
involved from the beginning and its inception. And then probably about a year or two in, we decided to kind of buy them out
Okay.
and then kind of launch everything on our own. So we had to do a rebranding. And so, I mean, we said nobody can really take your name, so you might as well just put our names on it,
Yeah.
so everybody knows.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've heard of you all several times. A few of my actor friends, they've submitted their information to you. Some of
Yes.
them are repped by you or were repped by you at some point. So I want to go ahead and jump right in. For the actors who are looking for agents, looking for representation, what do you all look for when you're selecting actors for your roster?
Usually the baseline is like just great actors.
Okay.
Like that, for me, that's going to trump everything. We don't typically go off of looks like how we used to in the past.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're a company, so we have to fill a roster.
Right.
So sometimes if you fit like this niche that's like so perfect that we don't have it, like for example, if you're a 65 or 75-year-old Hispanic woman or male, the qualifications may not be as high. Not saying they don't have the qualifications, but we won't look at it as strategically because we know that's a void that needs to be filled.
Oh, okay.
So we've had that before, and that person, because it was not a lot that looked like that person
Right.
or had the same ethnicity as that person, they would book all the time,
Wow.
and it
So
really didn't
older
matter.
actors.
Older actors, absolutely, especially if if they can speak a different language.
Okay.
That's a big plus. So things like that, that's not the norm.
Right.
That will typically get you a booking quicker if a casting director reach out and
Yeah.
they can't find that. And you
Interesting.
just so happen to have that.
Yeah. they look.
So yeah, it makes a big difference.
Okay.
But yeah, so other than that, just I don't know. I just like great actors that are confident. And at this point, we're kind of referral based,
Okay.
but still, we have people that come in that just so happen to submit their material. They don't have a lot of credits, a lot on their resume. But at this point, I can kind of look at your self tape. I really don't even need a reel. I can look at your self tape. If I give you 3 sides and I have you put it on tape, I know how you'll fare in the market.
Oh, good.
So, because I know that I've been in the market for a while, far beyond, what is it? We started this company, like I said, in 2017, but I've been in the market working at another agency for much longer.
Got you.
So
Okay.
you can double that time. And so I know what the market is, and everybody kind of circulates for the most part.
Right.
So I kind of know the competition level, even though we're having a influx in people from California, New
Right.
York,
Yeah.
things like that. But I can, again, look at someone's self-tape and know, okay, if they get enough opportunities, they'll book.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, do you just represent talent in the Southeast, or do you have offices in other cities?
We have offices in California.
Okay.
Yeah, in the Inglewood, Los Angeles area. We have an office out there, which is, it was a little strange, but we were one of the only Southeast-based agencies to have an office out there as a secondary.
Okay.
So that wasn't a thing, but
Right.
we had to do it based off of some qualifications. But yeah, so but we attract actors from all over. Again, we have actors that live in New York, Florida, Chicago, wherever, just everywhere. One of the things I say is that no one is really from LA.
Right.
You
Yeah, yeah,
know,
yeah. Most
yeah,
people go there to chase the dream.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when the opportunity became bigger to where I kind of felt it happened over COVID when everyone went home.
Mm-hmm.
Home was in LA. So
Okay.
then they figured, the dynamic kind of changed to where, okay, they live in Tennessee, they live in New Orleans, they live in Texas. That's a much easier trip to get to Atlanta than
Right.
LA, and you're getting the same level of opportunities.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right. So you mentioned 2020 when everybody went home. So much has changed.
a lot.
A lot has changed. What's the biggest change you've seen as far as on the casting side?
The casting side,
Mm-hmm.
probably the bigger influx in self tapes in all markets.
Okay, so that's the go-to. Is yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So.
So usually that was a Southeast thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, probably because, the Southeast was looked at as a startup, I
Okay.
think,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
maybe
Yeah.
casting didn't have, some casting directors had locations,
Mm-hmm.
office buildings, and things like that, but a lot of them didn't. So they
Right.
were doing things from home.
Mm-hmm.
And so the self tape became imperative. But after COVID, yeah, LA,
Everyone
self tape,
did.
self tape,
Mm-hmm.
self tape, like callbacks,
Mm-hmm.
Zoom,
Yeah.
so
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the biggest things that I've seen. I'm also seeing people that typically wouldn't get the opportunity
Oh.
are
Okay.
now getting the opportunity because casting is able to see more people. When it was in
Okay.
person, they might say, "Oh, for this role, we're gonna call in 15 people."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we get to do the self tape from our home, or view them from our home.
Mm-hmm.
I might see 50 people for that
Right.
role. So that's one of the biggest differences that I've definitely seen. That's a curveball to people that weren't used to them.
I like that. So, what can actors do to set themselves apart from the influx of self tapes? Like, what's a tip that you can give them?
Don't to do something very unique on your self tape.
Okay.
It could be the simplest thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen to where, let's just say if you're a casting director and you're looking at self tapes and you called in 50 people, but 49 of them did almost the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you have that one wild card that just made a different choice, a bold
Mm-hmm.
choice. And probably when that actor made that choice, they know either they gonna hate it or they gonna love it. But I'm gonna take this
This
chance. I
right.
mean,
Might as well.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that making a different, unique choice that's gonna set yourself apart
Mm-hmm.
from what you believe the other actors will do.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the biggest platforms is Actors Access or Breakdowns Express.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep telling actors that, they give multiple upload slots for a reason. You don't have to just settle on one take one way.
Okay.
So you can do it three, four, five different ways. A lot of actors may say that, hey, one of the biggest challenges of not being in the room is not being able to get redirection.
Yes.
So do all the redirections
Mm-hmm.
that you want at home, just upload them to different slots and let the casting director, make the decision on which one is more favorable to whatever they're trying to look for.
Okay. All right. That's really good tip. So, back to talent and rostering that you all have. Currently, how many actors do you represent out of the Southeast?
So in total or just in the Southeast?
Well, let's focus on the Southeast.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I had to give a fair number, it would probably be 300.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then combined total, it might be 450.
All right.
Yeah.
And what are the age ranges of these actors?
Uh, they could range from 5 years old all the way up to, I think one of the oldest on our roster is 75.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You can
Yeah.
do you
So
can do
a
it
whole
anytime.
Yeah, gambit. 'Cause
Yeah,
a lot of, well, maybe this is from the woman perspective, but a lot of women feel like once they reach a certain
you
age,
have no idea how much I get that.
yeah, they feel
Yeah,
like they can't
I be trying
do
to put
it.
their mind at ease. I'm like, you can do it. It does not matter. Your characters may change of what you're gonna play or what they'll call you in for, but you're never too old. I don't believe in that
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good to know because I've gotten a few like emails and like DMs, and
Hmm.
it's like, I'm 40. I used to do it when I was 20, but I want to get back into it, and they feel like they, you know,
Can't do it.
are aged out
Yeah.
or something. And
Yeah.
I've said the same thing. I'm like, characters are all age ranges.
100%. That's
Yeah.
why, and I forget the woman's name. My business partner, Chris, they had gone to the same church, but she was the older lady who unfortunately passed away recently, but she was in Black Panther, the original Black Panther.
Oh
But
yeah. Okay.
she hadn't acted for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and you're in one of the biggest movies in history.
Right.
So it's never nothing where it's too late. The only thing that I would say that might be a little bit challenging if you took some time off or if you're a little bit older
Mm-hmm.
is the process now. Because again, it's self-tape.
Right.
So sometimes when we get individuals that may have done it 20 years ago, 30 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
like, where do I drive to? Where do I go meet this casting director? I'm like, you don't do that no more.
Yeah.
So they trying to figure out how to set up this self-tape. They got to
Mm-hmm.
get their great-grandchild to come over there and set up the camera.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so by that time, the audition had passed. So
Yeah.
we try to get them as much help in
Mm-hmm.
advance as possible, just so when the opportunity does present itself, because it will.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a lack of, you know, age-appropriate material that's being released.
Okay.
So it's everything, everything, everyone's story needs to be told.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really good. So, for actors that have never had representation, is your agency the first stop, or do they need to be working on something else before they get into your ecosystem?
Man, that's a challenging question. Only because what if they're brand new, but they just naturally gifted, which it does not happen often.
Right. It takes a lot of
It
training.
takes a
Yeah.
lot of training.
Yeah.
I can literally, so in my career, I've probably represented thousands of actors over the
Mm-hmm.
course of 12, 13 years.
Okay.
And I can literally count on one hand how many of them had may only taken one acting class or no acting class
Mm-hmm.
and were just naturally gifted.
Okay.
And the craziest part is they're celebrities at this point.
Wow.
So it's just
Yeah.
something that just ironically happens. So
Yeah.
I don't want to block that
That.
potential blessing.
Right. Right.
But yeah, no, I think you got to be real with yourself
Mm-hmm.
and see. And not that we're being whatever about it. It's just that the process may be a little bit faster than you're used to, and you might take a little bit more hands on.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you have to get a manager that's patient
Right.
first, understand what that manager does, and maybe try out some of the other agencies just in case. But
Right.
let me make that decision. So don't feel, obligated to skip over us.
Mm-hmm.
Let me make that decision,
Okay.
because I can tell, if I'm playing
So, do
material.
you do like blind submissions, or I know you mentioned earlier you were like mostly referral based. So it's not good just to like
That,
slow,
that,
slow
that,
it.
that ain't that ain't stopping
That ain't
people.
stopping them.
Names. Yeah.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to pop in and say thank you so much for watching the call sheet. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell and leave your comment. What's the best part of this episode that you like? Be sure to follow us on Fanbase, on Facebook, and on Instagram at the Call Sheet Podcast. We'll be putting up some behind the scenes clips and telling you what's coming up next. If you have any questions around the acting industry here in Atlanta, feel free to email me at thecallsheetpodcast@gmail.com. Okay, back to the episode. I guess
Yeah,
what I'm trying to say is like, what's the proper etiquette?
if
You
it's
know?
if it's referral based, obviously you know what the proper etiquette is. But we do have an email address that's designated, and it's like submissions at sytalentagency.com.
Okay.
And so where we'll go in there periodically to see who submitted their materials.
Okay.
And then I don't know, people are researchers these days. So, you know, I'll be sitting there randomly and I get a text message of a resume from a number I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'll get that. But then, yeah, you know, our information is out there, you know, our direct information. So people will email their stuff directly to me, not the submissions email. I'll look at it.
Okay.
You know, if it's something that I see, if I want to see more, I'm going to let you know. I'm respond to you and let you know. And, you know, keep in mind as a company, even if I don't have a need for you or my specific roster, we have other agents
Okay.
at the company. So I'll then pass your information along and see if one of our other agents have a need for, you know, what you're trying to give.
Okay. That's good. So, like, as a talent agent, what does a typical day look like for you?
First, a lot of coffee.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it is first.
Okay, yeah.
Coffee and meditation first. You'll have to
Okay.
get that out the way early in the morning. But typically, it is anywhere from on a low range, maybe 60 to a high range, 200 emails a day.
Wow. And this is emails like to production, to
Everything.
actors,
So
to
to
like,
actors,
yeah.
to casting directors, to producers, if we have a direct connection, to managers, you know, it regardless, everything. So anything, and I'm not necessarily counting people that's just sliding in and sending their resume. I'm not counting that. I'm
Right.
talking about active messages.
Right.
You know, also phone calls. You know, I got the earbuds in, or I got you on speaker. I'm at the office. A ton of text messages, putting together packages. And some days we designate for like Zoom meetings because, you know, if I'm not in the office, I'm not about to drive all over town every time somebody requests a meeting. So I'm gonna hit you with that Zoom link. But yeah, that's just the typical day.
Yeah.
I typically say I read a lot of law books.
Okay.
And one thing I keep telling people, and I realize, is that it's two differences. Like, not, you know, criminal law, we have to go into actual court, but business law, contract law, things like that. Outside of getting a retainer up front, agents are like attorneys without the degree. So that's why when you
Okay.
see the top agencies, whether it's WME or whether it's CAA, the majority of them are the attorneys. The agents are attorneys. They have law degrees. That's what it is.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me something new.
Yeah.
So, why are you reading so much law? Is it because the way in which your business is structured, or?
It is, and plus I'm just intrigued by it.
Okay.
Just in
Okay.
general, my grandmother was in law for a certain amount of time before she switched careers, and you know I like law to a certain degree. I didn't
Yeah.
necessarily want to be bombarded with it and go to school for that, but I'll sit up there and watch a trial
Okay.
in the background all day.
Yeah.
But once I started reading certain books, I was like, okay, I do this every day. I do this every day. Like this lawyer is saying in his book, and I realized, okay, we're lawyers, you know, to a certain degree. It operates like a law firm. It's exactly what it
Interesting.
is. And then when I
Okay.
started doing research, I knew that the main agents, they have law degrees.
Wow. That's very interesting. I never even made
Yeah,
that connection at
yeah.
all. I guess as like an actor from the outside, it doesn't
Probably
seem
doesn't. Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
It's
Huh.
intriguing. Like clear example. Won't go on a tangent, but I'm not sure if you're familiar with Charles King.
Charles King.
Charles King is the CEO of Macro,
Oh, okay.
and he used to be at WME.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
so he was a high-powered black agent there. I think his first project was it Fences with Denzel,
Oh,
and then he
okay.
did
Yeah.
Mudbound, and
Oh,
then so a whole
yeah.
plethora of things after that. He has a law degree. So all these people
Interesting.
up there, they have law degrees. They're
Yeah.
lawyers. Some of the companies at first that was a requirement is that you had a law degree to work there.
Wow. Okay, because my sister, I know I don't want to go off on a tangent, but she wants to pursue law.
Yeah,
Yeah, she got her undergrad in criminal justice, but now she wants to go on and be a lawyer. And
yeah,
okay, I
yeah.
like that. So your typical day is lots of coffee,
Hectic,
emails,
hectic.
and hectic. When do you find a moment for yourself?
So I scheduled time. I had to start doing that recently.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, meaning in the past year and a half, 2 years,
Okay.
because it became overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to place barriers in the day, and then also just in the month.
Mm-hmm.
So again, in the morning, I will get my coffee, either read, meditate, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
In the middle of the day, I have an alarm on my phone where it says, okay, go get up and take some time for yourself, go meditate or
Oh,
whatever.
good. Yeah.
So I'll do that. And then I've also set up to where I have my phone calibrate to go and do not disturb at certain hours.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. I had
Yeah,
to
you
do
need
that.
that.
I had to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
So, because again, we have offices in LA, we have offices here. So I have to adjust to that time zone
Mm-hmm.
difference. So, just like last night, I got a call at 10 p.m. this time from a casting director in LA.
Right. Yeah.
And I actually missed it because my phone goes on do not disturb
Yeah.
at like 9:30.
Oh,
So
okay.
from 9 a.m.
Yeah.
to 9:30 at night. So after that, it goes on do not disturb, and I just so happened to look at my phone. I said,
Yeah.
"Oh, let me call them back."
Right.
But the clients would do it. That's what I'm worried about.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll get a text 2 o'clock in the morning. Do you like these headshots? I'm not about to answer you. So I had to,
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
to place that barrier. Then I
Yeah.
had to, take weekend vacations to
Mm-hmm.
kind of get away,
Mm-hmm.
things like that.
Okay, that's good. So, where do you find the fun and the joy in being a talent agent?
You know what? As small as it may
Mm-hmm.
seem, just seeing the people on TV that I got on TV,
Yeah.
and then also as I'm seasoned in the business, I'm starting to get an influx of talent that may have had a big career early, like
Mm-hmm.
years ago,
Mm-hmm.
that I grew up watching on TV,
Mm-hmm.
and now they're my clients, so I'm responsible for their career moving forward. So that's mind blowing.
Yeah.
And sometimes like if I'm close to that particular client,
Mm-hmm.
this is one client. I probably won't say his name right now, but he also does interior designing.
Oh, that's
He
cool.
has an eye for it.
Yeah.
So I just randomly went to my grandmother's house,
Mm-hmm.
and she looked and said, "What? No, who is? I know you."
Yeah.
And so he started laughing and said, "Yeah. So how are we gonna help you get this, this design together?" So
Yeah.
just things like that, them becoming my friends, but also just knowing that I had a help in having to help with them follow their dreams and accomplish their goals,
Mm-hmm.
and realizing that at the same time you don't understand that you're helping me do the same thing. So
Yeah.
it's like a win-win situation.
Oh, I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. So you mentioned your family earlier before we started rolling. Are they like an integral part in like what keeps you balanced? Well, you know,
Yeah,
somewhat balanced. I know
yeah,
family can be
they
difficult.
wild. No, it is. So you got your mom's side and you got your dad's side.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I think both in their own right keep me balanced
Mm-hmm.
in different ways. I actually got into the entertainment business because of my dad. So he keeps me really balanced with that. So I'm able to talk to him about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then just from a wisdom side, I
Mm-hmm.
can go and talk to mom or grandmom on the other side of the family. But yeah, they keep me back. They drive me crazy sometimes.
Yeah,
You know.
that's what they're supposed to do.
Yes,
I feel
yeah.
like
So
that's what
I
they're
don't I
supposed to
don't
do. Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
I don't mind. But yeah, they keep me balanced though.
Good. So, as far as Smith Young Agency,
Mm-hmm.
what is like the dream for your business and for your partnership with Chris?
So I'm competitive by nature.
Mm-hmm.
I always want to strive to be the very best,
Okay.
with no hesitation. I don't want anybody else to come into the conversation when it says that the ultimate goal.
Mm-hmm.
It's just to be able to help as many actors in whichever way we can. We also have a department for producers and writers and things like that. So we're trying to cultivate everything from the inception, and put things, together, essentially the whole thing, not just the actors,
Right.
but from the writers, the producers, the directors, to everyone. Even if we have a few stunt people on our roster, so
Oh,
we
that's
we
cool.
we gonna do it up. But even if it's just for the Southeast or Georgia, in general, I want us to be known as, you're the CAA of here in general.
Yeah.
You know, all hands down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Any last parting words for these actors that are looking for representation? They have a
Yeah.
passion for it. Yeah, just leave us with something.
Shoot your shot always, because you never know what can happen. If it's not to us, just do your research on a lot of the other agencies that are out here. Try to get into the actor communities, because that's where a lot of people get information. That's where they get referrals, information like where's the next casting director workshop, or this person over here shooting an independent film or a webisode or whatever it may be, or I'm going to refer you to my agent, or I might know a manager or whatever. Get into those communities. Don't put any limitations on yourself when it comes to, we spoke about, some people might feel as though they're too old to do something.
Right.
And you get some people where they feel as though they're too young. They're not as, seasoned. Don't put any limitation on yourself, because you never know what your journey is going to be.
Right.
You might even shock yourself. So I say never give up, because, until you give up, you always got a fair chance.
Yeah.
You only stop having a fair chance once you give up.
Good.
But that's it. And just, be happily competitive in this market, and it'll take you far.
Good.
Yep.
Okay. That's lovely. We can leave it at that.
Awesome.
So, are you active on social media or?
I am. I need to
Okay.
be more.
Okay.
I'm a little old school with. I rather, instead of taking video of everything, I rather just watch it and kind of
Live
seize
in
the moment.
Yeah.
But I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does your agency has a separate page?
It has a separate page.
And do you all post like when you're looking for certain things or not?
Not looking for certain things.
Okay.
So a lot of times our posts would be geared towards bookings that we get.
Okay, when you're talent.
Yeah,
Okay.
like when they're booking something, or when they have a premiere that's coming, or if they're at the premiere, we'll post those pictures. Or if they do positive interviews, we'll go ahead and post that as well. But yeah, so but we don't typically like, oh, we're looking for this and this. We
Yeah.
really don't do
Y'all
that.
too high up at this point.
I ain't saying that. I'm just saying. I'm definitely not saying that. I'm just
Okay.
saying I never thought about doing that.
Yeah.
I just pick up the phone and call you or whatever. But obviously, social media can spread a little bit better. So that's a good idea.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Tay. This was wonderful.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate
So,
it.
where can they follow you at?
They can follow me at Tay Smith, Tay Smith, ENT, and that's on all platforms.
Perfect. All
Yep.
right. We'll have everything linked in the show notes. Thank you all for tuning in to the Call Sheet Podcast. This is Tay Smith.
Thank you.
And we'll see you all next time.
Thank you.